Today I'm going to teach you how to add fractions. Now, if you look at question 1, we've got 1/2 plus 1/6. Some of you will find it easy using numbers. Other people will find it easier using shapes. So I'm going to draw little pizzas as well, just because it will make it look easier for some people. So if you look at the 1/2, I'm drawing half of a little pizza there, and 1/6, I'm going to split that into 6 slices as well. So if I was to highlight 1/2 of this pizza compared to 1/6 of that pizza, you can see that the 1/2 is bigger than the 1/6. Now, the most important thing when adding fractions is to find a common denominator. Now, when you have a fraction, the number on the top of the line is called the numerator, and the number on the bottom of the line is called your denominator. So it's this one underneath that we're trying to find a common number for. So if we look at our question where we've got 1/2 plus 1/6, we are aiming to make either the 2 and the 6 the same number. So in order to do that, we need to think about the 2 times table and the 6 times table. So I'm going to write out the 2 times table. Oops. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I'm also going to write out the 6 times table. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Now our job is to look to see which number is in both the 2's and the 6's. And in this case, it's 6. So in order for us to find a common denominator here, we need to turn both of our fractions into its equivalent with 6 as its denominator. So if we think about our pizza, that means we need to split our 1/2 pizza into 6's. So I'm going to split it into 6's, as you can see here. And that shows you that you've now got 3 slices that are shaded out of 6 on this side, and 1 out of 6 shaded over here. And that's this section here. So then your next step is to then add your numerators, which makes 4/6. Another way of writing it is if you've got 1/2 plus 1/6 and you find it easier just using the numbers instead of like pictures, then you find your common denominator as being 6 each time. And then you think, okay, what do I do to my bottom number on my denominator here to get to 6? Well, you multiply it by 3. Now, whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to your numerator as well. So you multiply that 1 by 3, which leaves you with 3/6, which you'll see is exactly the same as the 3/6 over here. So I'm doing the same sum twice here in different ways. And then we look at our right number where we've got 1/6, and that's already in 6. So we can just add them up, and it gives us 4/6. Now, unfortunately, we're not quite done yet because we can simplify 4/6 because they're both even. So you can just half both of those to leave you with 2/3. So I'm going to write a little method now over in this little box on the right-hand side. So the first thing to do is to find a common denominator or bottom number. The next thing is simply to add your numerators. You do not add your denominators, you just add the numerators. And then the last thing is, if you can simplify. Great, so the next one I'd like you to do, I'm going to do in a little box down the bottom here, is question 2, and it's going to be 1/3 plus 1/4. Now feel free at this stage to pause the video before I go through it with you. Okay, so again, this time we're going to look at our method, and we go the part 1 of the method is to find a common denominator. So to do that, I like to write out my times tables if I'm not really sure. So I'll write 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's my 3 times tables, and my 4 times table is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And again, we look for the lowest number that's in both, and in this case, it's 12, which means that we must have 12 as our denominator for both of our fractions here. So we think, right, what did I do to 3 to get to 12? Well, it's 3 multiplied by 4 makes 12. And because we've multiplied the denominator by 4, we must also multiply the numerator by 4, which leaves you with 4/12. And that's the equivalent of 1/3. Now we look over to the 1/4, and we think, what do we multiply 1/4 by, 4 by to get to 12? Well, you multiply it by 3. So then because you've multiplied the denominator by 3, you must multiply the numerator by 3 as well, which leaves you with 3/12. Then the next stage is we look at our method and it says part 2, add your numerators. So that's 4 add 3, which is 7, and you keep the denominator the same. In this case, we can't simplify, so we're all done.